Dr. Holt-Eakin, thank you for your testimony and for your great work over time. Dr. Sherholtz made a very compelling case for support for state and local governments. And I've been supportive of that since the very initial discussions with the CARES Act, and I also have legislation pending. 20 million jobs, that's how many state and local government people employed. About 8.5% of our GDP is state and local government. If we don't provide them additional grants, would that be a major miscue, a mistake in terms of recovery?
I'm agnostic. Is this for me or for Dr.?
That's for you, Dr. Holt-Eakin.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, I'm agnostic. I leave it to Congress to decide whether they should be grants or loans. But if we don't have a robust state local sector, we won't get a robust recovery.
Right. And that, I think, is a function not only of simply putting the money and keeping people employed, but so much of our economic activity depends on things like building inspectors being able to inspect construction sites, health workers being able to do their jobs when they're essentially laid off, furloughed. Oh, by the way, the teachers taking children to school so that men and women and adults can go to work. All of that, without it, it just causes a catastrophe. That makes sense to you, Doctor?
That's a concern. One of the interesting things that came out last Friday in the April payroll income and expenditure report was that we haven't seen a big decline in government payrolls. It's a private sector recession today. And I think the key would be to make sure that it doesn't develop into one in the state level.
Well, what's happening is my state might be an example. We have a July 1st deadline for our budget. We have a constitutional amendment, it has to be balanced. They're going to have to make some excruciating decisions, and the impact will be significant and huge. But Dr. Sherholtz, I know you want to comment.
Oh, I just wanted to say that we have already seen a loss of nearly 1 million state and local jobs. By mid-April, we had already lost more state and local jobs than were lost in the entire Great Recession, which is actually, I didn't actually think that those losses would come so early, but the fact that they are coming so early does, underscore how important that aid is.
And Dr. Sherholtz, too, in terms of this local funding, it's critical to so many other aspects of the economy, as I suggested before. Without schools, parents will be inhibited to go back to work because they have no place to care for their children. Without inspectors, you can't get projects done. So there'll be a multiplier effect in terms of the diminishment of state and local payrolls.
Yeah, I think that's important to note. Like when you think of, yes, there will be a ton of state and local government workers laid off, but you think of all of the services that they provide, the impact that will have, and then the fact that those workers are not getting income anymore means all of the stuff that they buy, people will not be needed to produce that stuff because they won't be able to buy it anymore. So we just have this really vicious cycle, and that's why state and local austerity is so damaging to recovery.
And let me put another point, change subject very briefly, Dr. Sherholtz. We are looking at these unemployment compensation benefits that will expire. When they expire, we're now looking at a situation where people will become desperate, literally. And no one anticipates a fast, rapid recovery to 5% unemployment or 3.5% employment, our record unemployment. In fact, they're looking at long-term sustained unemployment of significant levels. Without extended unemployment benefits that are not tied to a deadline, which I think is wrong, but tied to the actual state of the economy, i.e. a certain percentage of unemployment, we're gonna find ourselves in a deep, deep hole. Is that accurate?
Yes, Senator, I'm glad you brought that up. There's just a huge amount of uncertainty around how the economic impact of this will unfold. So assigning arbitrary end dates to provisions to sustain the economy, like unemployment insurance, just makes no sense when the process could be handled automatically by having provisions phase out as, for example, the unemployment rate declines. I think a key point is that using automatic stabilizers would not be any more expensive than the cumulative cost of multiple extensions in the program, but it would prevent incredibly destructive lapses in critical programs while Congress is negotiating extensions, and having automatic stabilizers would alleviate the terribly corrosive uncertainty by giving businesses and households confidence around budgeting and planning. It's just good governance.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.